Number 7. Jeremy Christian. In May of 2017, Oregon man Jeremy Christian began hatefully ranting and raving at a pair of teenage girls, one of whom was black and the other wearing a hijab, on a rush-hour Max Light rail train in Portland. The man, a self-proclaimed white nationalist, allegedly directed anti-Muslim slurs at one of the teens and shouted about how minorities were ruining the city. As the rant continued, the train operator came over the loudspeaker, imploring the individual creating the disturbance to exit the train immediately. Christian refused, however, continuing to berate the teens with pleas for them to get out of his country. Shortly thereafter, a pair of bystanders emerged from the crowded group of onlookers to intervene on the girls' behalf. Taliesin Mirdin, Namkai Michi, and Micah David Cole Fletcher approached Christian and demanded he get off the train while attempting to form a barrier between the man and the targets of his abuse. Fletcher gave Christian a slight shove, followed by another push, causing him to fall backwards. Christian menacingly warned, "Touch me again and I'm going to kill you." According to subsequent police reports, the man then pulled out a knife and began slashing Namkai Michi, Fletcher, and Ricky Best, who was standing nearby. The crowd of horrified passengers fled from the train car at the next stop, as did Christian, who'd left all 3 stabbing victims in critical condition. When emergency crews arrived at the scene, Best was pronounced dead, while the other 2 wounded men were taken to a local hospital. Namkai Michi, who'd been recording the incident with his cell phone, later succumbed to his injuries, while Fletcher ultimately survived. Christian was tracked down by a group of roughly 8 officers who took him into custody on the north side of Providence Portland Medical Center. During his arrest, he allegedly proclaimed, "I can die in prison a happy man." He faced charges of murder and attempted murder, as well as other crimes, including a separate hate crime assault the previous day. A jury found Christian guilty on all counts, and in the summer of 2020, he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms. Number 6. Sophia Rosen. University of Kentucky student Sophia Rosen was arrested following a drunken, racially charged verbal tirade directed towards a fellow student in the early hours of November the 6th of 2022. The 22-year-old business and marketing major was visibly intoxicated when she stumbled into one of the dorms on the university's Lexington campus. Student Kyla Spring, who was working at the front desk that night, attempted to restrain Rosen from getting on the elevator because she didn't have an ID card with her. The inebriated young woman then called Spring a racial slur and kicked her in the stomach. As was captured on cell phone video, Rosen subsequently tried to run the student employee over with a shopping cart she found in the lobby before biting another student present at the scene. A campus police officer arrived a short time later and placed Rosen in handcuffs as she continued to hurl racial insults at Spring and her friend. Facing charges of intoxication in a public place, 3rd-degree assault on a police officer, 4th-degree assault, and 2nd-degree disorderly conduct, she was booked at the Fayette County Detention Center on a $10,000 bond. In the aftermath of her outburst, which went viral on social media, Rosen was fired from her job at Dillard's department store, and many called for her to be expelled from the university. Number 5. Esmeralda Upton. A Texas woman was arrested for verbally and physically assaulting a group of Indian women in a parking lot in Plano on August 24th of 2022. According to local police, Badisha Rudra and her friends had just exited the 60 Vines restaurant and began exchanging goodbyes in their native tongue when they were approached by Esmeralda Upton. In a video that subsequently went viral on social media, Upton was shown berating the women while using racial slurs and shouting for them to go back to India. The unhinged woman also allegedly threatened to shoot them multiple times, indicating that she had a firearm in her vehicle. At one point, she punched Rudra's wrist forcefully while attempting to make contact with her face. Upton wasn't immediately taken into police custody because the criminal offenses didn't occur in the presence of the responding patrol officers. She was, however, arrested the following day and reportedly faced charges of assault and making threats. After posting her $10,000 bond, Upton was released, pending the continuation of the case's legal proceedings. In the meantime, the woman was sued by Rudra, who claimed that the incident had traumatized her and caused her emotional distress. Number 4. Michael Withers. Back in 1987, a man broke into Lillian Kuller's home in St. Paul, Minnesota, leading to a deadly physical altercation. After fruitlessly attempting to fight off her intruder, Kuller, who was 81 at the time, was fatally strangled. The case subsequently went cold for more than 3 decades before developments in DNA testing technology allowed investigators to finally identify the elderly woman's killer as Michael Withers, described as a serial burglar who lived only a mile from his victim's house. The man eventually reached a plea bargain with prosecutors. However, during his sentencing hearing in Ramsey County Court in October of 2018, Withers went on a scathing rant in which he accused both the judge and county attorney of punishing him solely for political gain. Then 60-year-old Withers refused to take responsibility for his actions or apologize to Kuller's family, instead saying that the case's legal proceedings had devolved into a media circus. With hostility in his voice, the defendant then addressed the judge directly, stating, "You and the DA have made it about you and what you hope to gain in the future by your lack of empathy or integrity." The victim's family called Withers' remarks callous and upsetting. He was ultimately sentenced to 20 years behind bars, the maximum punishment allowed for the crime under 1987 law. Number 3. Susan Westwood. On October the 19th of 2018, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department in North Carolina received multiple 911 calls from someone claiming that 2 people were attempting to break into residences in the 8800 block of Fairview Road. Responding officers were unable to locate the caller, identified as 51-year-old Susan Westwood. They did, however, encounter the 2 women Westwood had falsely accused of wrongdoing, sisters Lisa and Mary Garris. The latter 2 had begun recording Westwood as she drunkenly ranted at them about how they shouldn't be loitering in the parking lot. Mary explained that they were trying to get in touch with AAA because their car wouldn't start, but the intoxicated woman continued berating them, at certain points hurling racially degrading remarks at them. When the Garrises uploaded a video clip online, it garnered widespread attention, with Westwood derisively being dubbed South Park Susan. She was also terminated from her job at Spectrum Enterprise, which stated that the incident was a blatant violation of the company's code of conduct and clearly disregards the company's commitment to inclusion and respectful behavior. Local police subsequently issued a warrant for Westwood's arrest on a charge of misuse of the 911 system. She turned herself in shortly thereafter. In the summer of 2019, Westwood entered a guilty plea to 911 misuse, as well as 2 counts of simple battery. She was consequently sentenced to 12 months of unsupervised probation and was also ordered to participate in community support meetings as well as an aftercare alcohol program. Today's topic was requested by Luke Halliwell. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Shia LaBeouf. Polarizing Hollywood actor Shia LaBeouf, who rose to prominence with his starring role on the 2000s Disney Channel series Even Stevens, before cultivating a thriving career in films, was arrested for causing a disturbance in downtown Savannah, Georgia. The incident occurred in the early morning hours of July the 8th of 2017. Officers were called to the scene where then 31-year-old LaBeouf was allegedly drunk in public. As was captured on the police's body cams, the actor became belligerent towards law enforcement, at one point telling one of the officers, "You're going straight to hell." When asked why he made such a severe proclamation, LaBeouf replied, "Because he's a black man." The celebrity continued ranting at police as he was taken into custody on charges of public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and obstruction. In the wake of the incident, LaBeouf issued a public apology to the Savannah officers he verbally abused, indicating he was deeply ashamed of his behavior and made no excuses for it. He also attributed his outburst to his struggles with alcohol addiction. In October of 2017, he pleaded no contest to disorderly conduct and was additionally found guilty of obstruction, leading to a sentence of 1 year probation. LaBeouf was also ordered to pay a $1,000 fine and attend therapy for his anger and substance abuse problems. Number 1. Terry Samsonak. the city of Edmonton in Alberta, Canada, enacted a temporary bylaw on August 1st of 2022 that required citizens to wear face coverings while in public spaces and public transit. The following day, 61-year-old Terry Samsonak walked into Olympia Liquors on 137 Avenue without a mask. The store's supervisor, Nadeep Singh, later described how the man began acting confrontationally as soon as he walked in, yelling at Singh and other customers to take off their masks. The manager asked the belligerent man to leave, citing the new city policy as well as the store's own mask requirement. But he refused, instead shifting the subject of his rant towards Singh's appearance and beliefs. In a viral video resulting from the incident, Samsonak bemoaned about how Singh's people had come to Canada, calling him brainwashed and his long beard stupid. Following his racist tirade and failure to comply with city ordinances, Samsonak faced criminal charges of assault and causing a disturbance. Thanks for watching. Would you rather get publicly chewed out by your boss every time you make the slightest mistake at work, or feel an electric shock whenever you tell a lie? Let us know in the comments section below.